Good morning, everyone. Today's topic is white matter of the cerebrum. What is white matter of cerebrum? It is a compact mass of number of nerve fibers and neuroglia, and it lies deep to the cerebral cortex. The white matter consists of three types of fibers: association fibers, commissural fibers, projection fibers. What is association fibers? The association fibers, it connect different regions of cerebral cortex in the same hemisphere. It is otherwise known as intrahemispheric fibers. There are two types of association fibers: short association fibers, long association fibers. The short association fibers, otherwise called arcuate or U fibers. Examples of long association fibers are uncinate fasciculus, cingulum, superior longitudinal fasciculus, fronto-occipital fasciculus, inferior longitudinal fasciculus. In the long association fibers, first we see about the uncinate fasciculus. It connects the Broca speech area and orbital surface of frontal lobe with the temporal pole. The next long association fiber is cingulum. Cingulum means it is griddle. That is, the cingulum, or otherwise called limbic association bundle. It connects the cingulate gyrus to entorhinal cortex. The next fibers is superior longitudinal fasciculus. It is the longest of all these fibers. It connects frontal lobe to the temporal and occipital lobes. It lies lateral to the projection fibers of corona radiata. The next fibers is fronto-occipital fasciculus. It connects the frontal lobe to temporal and occipital lobes. It lies medial to the corona radiata. The next fasciculus is inferior longitudinal fasciculus. It connects visual association areas of occipital lobe to temporal lobe. A small recap of association fibers. The association fibers connect different regions of same hemisphere. It is intrahemispheric fibers. It is short association fibers and long association fibers. Short association fibers, it is like U-shaped fibers or arcuate fibers. Long association fibers, uncinate fasciculus, cingulum, superior longitudinal fasciculus, fronto-occipital fasciculus, and inferior longitudinal fasciculus. The next fiber is commissural fibers. Commissural fibers, it connects the corresponding regions of the two hemispheres. The largest commissural fiber is corpus callosum. The other commissural fibers are anterior commissure, posterior commissure, hippocampal commissure, fornix, habenullar commissure. This picture shows commissural fibers of the brain. The corpus callosum, it is the largest commissure. Corpus means body and callus is tough. It is 10 cm in length. Next, let us see about the parts of corpus callosum from before backwards. It is rostrum, genu, trunk or body, and splenium. First we see about the genu. It lies 4 cm behind the frontal pole. The fibers sweep forwards to form a fork-like structure called forceps minor. It lies in the anterior part of the frontal lobe. Next is the rostrum. It is the downward-backward prolongation of the genu. It connects the orbital surfaces of the frontal lobe. The next part is trunk. It connects the frontal and parietal lobes. It is intersected by the fibers of corona radiata. The last part is splenium. It lies 6 cm in front of the occipital pole. It connects the temporal lobes and occipital lobes. Forceps major. The splenial fibers, it sweeps backwards between the occipital lobes and it forms a large fork-like structure called forceps major. The forceps minor is formed by the genu fibers and forceps major formed by the splenial fibers. Next, coming to the tapetal fibers, it is formed by the trunk and splenium. It forms the roof and lateral wall of the posterior horn and lateral wall of the inferior. This picture shows tapetal fibers. Next, coming to the relation of the convex surface of the corpus callosum. The relations are: it related to free margin of falx cerebri, inferior sagittal sinus, indusium griseum, callosal sulcus, anterior cerebral vessels and cingulate gyrus. Next, coming to the concave surface of the corpus callosum, it is related to the crura of fornix, septum pellucidum, lateral ventricle, tela choroidea, great cerebral vein, pineal gland and tectum of midbrain. What is the function of the corpus callosum? It connects the two lobes of cerebral hemisphere. They can function as single entity. Interhemispheric transfer of information is done by the corpus callosum. This picture shows agenesis of the corpus callosum leads to split brain syndrome. The next commissure is anterior commissure. It is located in the upper part of the lamina terminalis. It has two components: a small anterior component related to olfactory region and large posterior component related to temporal lobes. This picture shows anterior commissure. It has anterior paleocortical component and posterior neocortical component. The next commissure is posterior commissure. It is located in the inferior lamina of the stalk of pineal gland. It gives connection to the superior colliculi and pretectal nuclei. This picture shows posterior commissure. What is habenullar commissure? It connects the habenullar nuclei of the two sides. It lies in the superior lamina of the stalk of pineal gland. It is situated on the dorsal lamina of the pineal stalk. It acts as a nodal point for convergence of basic emotional drives. The next commissure is hippocampal commissure or commissure of fornix. It interconnects the crura of the fornix. The next fibers are projection fibers. It connects the cerebral cortex to the subcortical centers and spinal cord. There are two types of fibers: corticofugal fibers, corticopetal fibers. The examples for projection fibers are internal capsule, corona radiata and fornix. First, we see about the internal capsule. It is a compact bundle of projection fibers. It is the main highway for afferent and efferent fibers. It is V-shaped. Coming to the boundaries of the internal capsule, it is bounded medially by the thalamus and laterally by the lentiform nucleus, above by the caudate nucleus. Next, let us see about the parts of the internal capsule. It has anterior limb, genu, posterior limb, sublentiform part and retrolentiform part. The fibers of the internal capsule. Motor fibers. The corticopontine fibers occupy the 2/3 of total fibers. The frontopontine, it occupies the anterior limb, genu and posterior limb. Paretopontine and temporopontine fibers occupy the sublentiform part. The paretopontine and accipitopontine occupies the retrolentiform part. The next fibers occupying the internal capsule is pyramidal tract fibers. These are corticonuclear fibers occupying genu and corticospinal fibers occupying the anterior 2/3 of the posterior limb. The extrapyramidal tract fibers occupy the posterior limb as corticorubral fibers. The next fibers is sensory fibers, that is thalamocortical fibers as thalamic radiation. There are 4 types of thalamic radiation: anterior thalamic radiation, superior thalamic radiation, posterior thalamic radiation and inferior thalamic radiation. What is anterior thalamic radiation? It passes through the anterior limb. It is formed by the anterior dorsomedial nucleus of thalamus to frontal lobe. The superior thalamic radiation, it connects the ventral tier nuclei of the thalamus to the sensory and motor cortex. It passes through genu and posterior. Next, coming to the posterior thalamic radiation, it connects the lateral geniculate body to primary visual cortex, passes through retrolentiform part. Inferior thalamic radiation, it connects the medial geniculate body to primary auditory area, It passes through the sublentiform part. A small recap about the fibers passing through the anterior, geno-posterior and sublentiform and retrolentiform part. Through the anterior limb, the anterior thalamic radiation and frontopontine fibers passing. Through geno, superior thalamic radiation, frontopontine and corticonuclear fibers. Through posterior limb, superior thalamic radiation, frontopontine, corticospinal and corticorubral fibers. Through the sublentiform part, inferior thalamic radiation or auditory radiation, paritopontine fibers and temporopontine fibers. Through retrolentiform part, posterior thalamic radiation, that is optic radiation, paritopontine fibers and occipitopontine fibers. Next, coming to the blood supply of the internal capsule, it is very important question. So the blood supply to the anterior limb is by the striate branch of anterior cerebral artery, recurrent branch of anterior cerebral artery and striate branch of middle cerebral artery. Blood supply to the geno by the recurrent branch of anterior cerebral artery, striate branch of middle cerebral artery and direct branches from internal carotid artery. Next, blood supply to the posterior limb by the striate branch of middle cerebral artery, anterior choroidal artery and posterolateral branches of posterior cerebral artery. Next, the blood supply to the sublentiform part is by the anterior choroidal artery and posterior cerebral artery. For the retrolentiform part, the blood supply is from the posterolateral branches of posterior cerebral artery. This picture shows the blood supply of the internal capsule in a simplified manner. Let us see the quick recap of blood supply of internal capsule. The anterior limb is supplied by two arteries, middle cerebral artery, recurrent artery of Hubner, and geno is supplied by three arteries, middle cerebral artery, recurrent artery of Hubner and internal carotid artery. The posterior limb is supplied by three arteries, anterior choroidal, posterior cerebral artery and middle cerebral artery, and sublentiform is by two arteries, anterior choroidal artery and posterior cerebral artery, and retrolentiform part is by one artery, that is anterior choroidal artery. The next topic is the important topic, that is clinical anatomy of white matter of cerebrum. First we see about the stroke. What is stroke? It is hemorrhage or infarction that leads to the contralateral hemiplegia. The hemorrhage commonly occurs due to rupture of the lenticulate striate branches of middle cerebral artery. This is otherwise called Charcot's artery of cerebral hemorrhage. So the middle cerebral artery, lenticulate striate branches of middle cerebral artery is called Charcot's artery of cerebral hemorrhage. It usually involves posterior limb. Then involvement of recurrent artery of Hubner. What is recurrent artery of Hubner? It is a branch of anterior cerebral artery. It leads to paralysis of face and upper limb of contralateral side. Next, thrombosis of anterior choroidal artery causes contralateral hemianopia and hyperacusis. The next projection fiber is corona radiata. How it is named as corona radiata by its crown shape. See the fan-shaped arrangement of fibers. The projection fibers consist of afferent fibers conveying impulses to the cerebral cortex and efferent fibers conveying impulses away from the cerebral cortex. Deeper to the cortex, these fibers arranged radially as the corona radiata. The corona radiata fibers converge downward to form the internal capsule between thalamus and basal ganglia and continue in the crus cerebrae of the midbrain, basilar part of pons and pyramid of the medulla. So far we discussed about the white matter of cerebrum. Thank you.